This is Space Truckers Book 1, Adventures of the Blue Eagle, written by Michael D'Ambrosio, narrated by Adam Schulmerich. Prologue. When mankind finally traveled beyond the stars, colonies and space stations were established. To maintain those locations, supplies were needed. As a result, shipping corporations evolved and bid for the contracts to deliver those goods. Over time, the corporations grew, and the shipping routes became competitive. With the evolution of the shipping industry came the greed of the corporations. Space was still a lawless region with only private security firms to maintain order. One company, Cisco Galactic Services, excelled at the logistics of space transportation and controlled much of the shipping in the galaxy. Its competitor, Empire Shipping, was determined to overthrow Cisco and control all shipping in the galaxy. This is the story of the adventures of the Blue Eagle, an obsolete freighter whose crew fought to keep their independence from corporate control. Chapter 1. X's and O's. The Cisco Galactic Services Corporation's headquarters was based at Taurus, a massive cylinder-shaped space station with 13 circular modules mounted on a rotating axis. In addition to its docking and storage facilities, the various elevations hosted vital functions, including ship repairs, executive-level operations, logistics, medical, and even a prison section for the incarceration of criminals. Located in the center of the galaxy, the corporation managed over 120 freighters. It also controlled 70% of the shipping in the galaxy, making it the leading shipper of the 7 shipping companies. Led by Empire Shipping, Cisco's main rival, the 6 competitors pooled their resources together in an attempt to buy out Cisco and take over the magnificent station. Gemini, the sultry CEO of Cisco, was as dangerous as she was beautiful. She assumed control of Cisco from her mentor, John Mallory, who died in a suspicious explosion at Taurus 6 months ago. Mallory had built Cisco into the shipping leader it now was from a small fleet, and took Gemini on as a business partner a year earlier due to her past expertise in handling Special Forces logistics. In doing so, he trained her to run the corporation and deal with the hostile competition that saw her gender as a weakness. Female executives were rare in the shipping business and often the targets of envious and ambitious males. Her success through hardball tactics only increased the pressure she received from others, determined to force her out of Cisco. Several attacks recently occurred against her freighters, and, although unsuccessful, they were ramping up in frequency. It was only a matter of time before losses were incurred and lives were lost. Once the first successful attack was accomplished, other rivals would surely escalate their attacks against her ships. In addition, her board members had already resigned due to threats against their lives, leaving Gemini to run the entire operation by herself. Gemini entered her high-tech conference room, wearing a long black dress and stiletto heels, and carrying a small handbag. She sat at an oval glass table and tapped her fingers nervously, eyeing the intercom in front of her. A long-haired gentleman in a suit entered a few minutes later and tossed a packet containing a dozen white pills on the table. Gemini thanked him, and he left. She removed one pill and slid the packet inside her handbag. A tall, shapely brunette, Sarah, entered the room and stood with arms folded. Lost in her thoughts, Gemini didn't acknowledge her. Sarah remarked, "You look stressed, little sister. Relax." After a brief pause, Gemini looked up and countered. "That's easy for you to say. Tell me you have something I can use." Sarah smiled confidently and walked around the table toward her. "A drink may be in order," she suggested, "if you get my drift." Gemini's mood improved, and she responded with renewed enthusiasm. "I knew I could count on you, Sarah. You always have my back." She went to the bar and poured 2 bourbons. Sarah peered about the conference room, impressed with its luxurious finish. Gemini
Sample complete. Ready to continue?